had last week with Frank Kane. I'm sure it's going to be the same today with my guest. And also I want to welcome our new sponsor of the show, Monge, who is going to be a part of our project, and I thank them for that. My guest tonight is definitely one of the legends of our sport, a person that I think many people or everybody who has any connection with dogs certainly knows by name. And I'm happy to give you this incredible opportunity to hear a little bit more about the person that maybe you didn't have the privilege during your lifetime to find out more about him. I'm sure it's going to be an extremely interesting evening. Good evening, Paolo. Welcome to Talking Dogs with Ante. Such an honor to have you tonight with me. How are you?
Very well. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm the honored person to have been chosen for this marvelous, I hope, interview. So I say good evening, everybody. I know there are many people watching your successful program.
Thank you so much, Paolo. Indeed, there are a lot of people watching, and we have already a lot of comments that I will try to read later on to you, so you can hear also from many friends of yours from all around the world. Tell me, for the start, Paolo, how do you pass your days now during this pandemic? Did it change a lot your life, or you are okay with it?
Well, it's not an easy period now to live, especially for an old person like me with this COVID. But I try to spend my days in a comfortable way. I mean that I used to read a lot, and so also in the evening I watch television until late, some programs that usually are the more interesting, or I listen to a concert of classic music, something when everything is silent around, also in my flat.
Yes.
That is not noisy usually, because we are only my wife and myself and the dear little Melba that now is already sleeping because she had an hard day. She was trimmed for some hours,
Okay.
and she came with me to spend about an hour walking in the park, and then came back, had the food, had her
Now he's sleeping.
Yes, and
Yes.
she is sleepy already, but maybe she is curious, so she will come here.
Okay, it will be nice to see her also later.
And so I didn't reply to your question. It's very interesting. I wake up not very early in the morning because I have not to go to work. So usually it's about 80 or 8, 9. I stay in bed. And I am a good sleeper also now that I am old. Usually you read that the old people don't sleep.
A lot,
sleep, and I like to sleep.
Wonderful.
Also because in the evening before, the night before, I had a good lunch, a good dinner, and some good drinks.
Wonderful.
Italian drinks. I mean,
wonderful.
wine.
Yeah, that makes the life a little bit nicer. That's for sure. Anyhow, Paolo, before I start with my questions, we have a lot of people watching and a lot of comments already. For example, people, I can read just a few from the people that I think you probably know. Our mutual friend Janusz Opara from Poland is saying, best regards and thank you for this much anticipated meeting. Claudio De Giuliani is watching.
Yes.
He's saying, I'm here. Paolo is a great person and teacher. Many people are watching. Valentina Barcela saying, thank you, Ante, for this amazing interview. Desi Murphy from the USA saying, so good to see Paolo. Stefano Paolantoni saying, great person and a judge. Cecilia saying, good evening from Romania, and thank you so much for this amazing interview. We have a message from Claire Millward, who is saying, good evening to you both. I'm really looking forward to this interview. Some of my favorite memories in the ring were under Paolo, the CC at Crafts when he judged Afghans. I have been or seen a class or electricity like it he awarded to my champion Rainbow Aladdin. That was a class and atmosphere unlike I have ever seen before or after. People couldn't get near the ring. Such a lovely, knowledgeable judge. Filippo Tasselli saying un caro saluto avvocato. Bite Arens Primavera, good evening dear Paolo and Ante, so looking forward to this interview. Greetings from Derby del Pesco. So many people, Paolo, are watching this from all around the world and saying hello to you. I will try from time to time to read some of them to you, so I think it will make you happy. But let's go on with the questions. What I want to ask you first, Paolo, I know that you have come from the family who had dogs, who loved dogs. I know that you got your first dachshund when you were 5 years old. I want to know a little bit about your background, about your family, and how did you start with dogs?
Yes, my father had Irish setter when he was young. And he was a dog person. I mean that he let the dogs go on the bed. My mother was a little bit cool with dogs. And my brothers, my brother was good. My younger sister, who is my favorite, also actually is a dog person. She always had a dog at home, and the other sister was not so good. So when I had the boxer, that was the first dog that I have shown, and was a good bloodline at the time because it was a Weimar, and in Italy at the time, Weimar was a fantastic line of boxers, and still we win in Germany. The Italian dogs boxer, the breed win in Germany and all over Europe. So is a very strong breed that I still continue to love. The boxer was only my dog, really, because I was the one that used to take him out in the morning before going to school, was the one that I used to take out when I arrived from school about 2, and then I had lunch, and then I used, with the excuse of the boxer, to go around and go to the garden and see my girlfriends at the time. I started early.
Yes.
Really, and the dog has his friends to play with.
Yes, and actually, Paolo, Boxer was the first dog that you have bring to the dog show, if I hear well.
Yes, and he had good, as you as you know already, as a first result. When grown up, he had a very good that was not so terrible.
Yes.
So I came home with this very good, and in the family they were not so they didn't know this world, so they thought very good was very good. And what I learned really for all my dog life, to remember, because nowadays very good is a disgusting result.
Yes.
Qualification is very low, but
yes.
Very good does mean very good. I remember with Mario Periconi, we used to teach the young one that wanted excellent CAC, CACIB immediately, and they had to pass the hard judges. Probably nowadays I am more famous than I was when I used to judge, because if there are people around that have been under me, they know that I never gave nothing that I thought was a large result. I was rather strict in my opinions, but this was for the good of the people and the good of the breeds of the breed that were shown under me.
Yes,
And I
because
still
as you said, the things have changed a little bit, because before at that time, very good was something nice to bring home because you thought you had a very good dog. But now I think if you get very good, people get very upset.
so I'm not I'm not considered for competition in showing dogs against somebody else, and I'm not no more a judge. So I'm the idol now
Yes, yes,
because I am away.
yes,
But it's
that's true.
only for this reason, not because I'm different from the others. Honestly, I'm
Yes, but Paolo, you have
still the same as I was when I was young. I mean,
yes,
I consider this a fantastic hobby, the best in the world that I could choose, and but still is a hobby that let me enjoy a lot and gave me the great opportunity to meet thousands and thousands of lovely people, some only very few nasty ones, but very few,
luckily.
but there were some nasty.
Of course, but this is everywhere in life.
Yeah,
Anyhow, Paolo, I have, before I start with my question, there is a question from a person that for sure you know very well. It's our friend Zafra Sirik from Israel. She
yeah.
is saying, "Good to see you, Paolo." She says, "Do you miss judging? Any regrets about your decision to retire from the ring? Best wishes for the coming holidays."
Thank you very much. I send her best wishes and all my love to her. She's a very clever woman that I always appreciate. Uh, well, I say that I would not be sincere if I don't admit that. Sometimes I miss the dog word. I miss a lot the dog word. But all my life I fight also on the side of the administration of the commission I was a member of, all my commitment with the organization of dog shows and so on, and clubs and so on. And I always thought that is my opinion. The people can judge forever, must not be a limit, but we must leave the liberty to the people that has decided to be dog judges to decide that at a certain time could be an end before
Yes,
dying. And
yes,
this doesn't happen very often, I
I
think.
know, I
But
know.
I consider myself enough to say that I don't want to show my faults. I always complain or wrote in my critique, this dog is limping. And a judge also must be absolutely fit, not necessarily uh, young, but
Yes, but
fit.
fit. Yes,
So it's an opinion.
yes,
I
yes,
decided myself when the 80 years will arrive, my birthday of 80 will arrive. I had a fantastic occasion to announce my decision. To stop judging and maintain my decision. I had a lot of invitation later, change idea, no, please, why you did this, no, but no, if I decide I miss the dogs, I miss the friends, I miss the other colleagues, I miss the many handlers I have met in my life, many wonderful people, a lot, but I prefer to remember them when I go to bed in the evening and I think of my past.
Yeah, this is amazing also that although you are not judging anymore, we have this amazing opportunity to spend the time with you and talk to you a little bit. And before we start with the questions, let me just read one more comment, and it's from Richard Hellman, who is saying, I had the honor of winning Best in Show under Paolo at his very last judging assignment in Genova 3 years ago.
Is it true? It true? Yes. And
okay.
Thank you.
Paola, I want to ask you first, before we start talking a little bit about the dogs that you had in your life, I want to ask you, your kennel name was Del Pesco. How did the kennel name come? What it means?
Everybody think that maybe I had in my country house a peach tree, so I decided no. Del Pesco is P like Paolo.
Okay.
Elena, my daughter.
Okay.
Esco is the final of Francesco, my son. And nobody else asked me about it. And you are the very first person, and the friends that are following this interview knows.
Wonderful, wonderful. This is an interesting story because, yes, I have tried to find the explanation in some of the interviews with you, but I have never found it. So I was very curious to find out this story. We have also a comment again from Zafra Sirik saying your style is really missed today. And Francesco Cocchetti is saying style, knowledge, culture, and personality all together are very difficult to find nowadays. So
Francesco also is one of my favorite judges. I consider much younger. I consider myself as an older brother of Francesco, and he's wonderful.
Wonderful. He will be here happy to. He will be happy to hear this comment. Okay, Paolo, I have decided to talk a little bit more about 3 breeds that were, let's say, very important in your life. But then there were also some other breeds that you mentioned that you had a short contact with. So I would like just very, very shortly to pass these breeds which were maybe, or you just had one dog, or maybe you showed it or whatever. Just that you tell us shortly the story about this breed. Maybe it will not go chronologically when did you have them, but let's do just quickly these breeds, and then we will talk a little bit more about your main breeds that you had. You mentioned that you had German Shepherds.
Yes, I had German Shepherd, and this the very first one was a son of, at the time, Uran von Wildestein's and German dog, was a Sieger, and is the dog that broke all the record about the price that was sold to Japan, to a very rich, obviously, person, for $500,000 at the time. We are talking 20 years ago. Yesterday arrived to me because I have my contact magazine of the Sieger Show that was together our dog, the last issue number of our dog. There was a lovely magazine all about a booklet
About
all
German Shepherds.
about German Shepherd.
Yes,
and
wonderful.
I found Uran. And this dog was fantastic. His nickname was Vix, and he's the dog that at 11, maybe nearly 12 years, while I was having my breakfast in the morning in a country house where at the time I lived with Hermione Bruton, the Afghan lady that came to live with me for many years in Italy, and then went back with a lot of dogs from Italy again to show for some time in UK and Wales. And this dog was near me in the morning and was laying down and put his head on my foot.
Yes.
And died.
Oh my God.
It was very moving.
Yes.
Very moving. And I still remember. And this was my first dog. And then I had 3 more other as a guard dog. They were fantastic, were living in and out the house. And I had the kennels at the time and were built with an English style, these kennels. In this big house was a villa near the river Ticino in Oleggio, near the Lake Maggiore, wonderful place. Apart from the not fleas, but also fleas.
Yes.
It's summer.
Yeah. And then Paolo, I read also you had some Jack Russell Terriers.
Yes, I only bred a Jack Russell. I had a Jack Russell from is a long story. I had a Jack Russell from Sweden, from a lady who was a breeder, very clever breeder, with all Australian bloodlines. And because I saw the first time I went to judge in Australia, 1975, I saw for the first time the broken Jack Russell.
Jack Russells, yes.
Because otherwise, the Jack Russell were the horrible one that live with the horses.
yes.
In England. But now, and they had a separate stud book and everything.
Yes, everything, yes.
But now are recognized by the UK and by the Kennel Club, and they have a standard that is mainly the one of the FCI, and the one of the FCI is mainly the standard of Australia.
Yes.
Because all the details of the breed are from Australia.
Yes.
I had only a litter.
1 liter.
This bitch that died, 2-year-old, because she had a very bad disease to the kidneys.
Okay.
The mother.
My next breed, which I had on my list, is connected with the question that we got from Andrew Brace, who is also watching the interview, and he's writing, when the brachycephalic breeds are getting such negative publicity, Paolo is one of the few all-rounder judges who can speak from personal experience about the health and fitness of the Pekingese breed. How did he find living with Jeremy?
Jeremy was fantastic. Was great personality. Was Mikely Kennels, and was at the time was a. I don't know if he's still on. I don't think the owners probably passed, and I don't know if he saw the if the breed is finished as Mikely's, but they had a fantastic time. Mine was not a super type because was rather rock in his mouth, and so for this reason he was never shown. But he had a fantastic temperament, and having in kennels and in the house with us and Hermione about and beagles. About and a Saluki and a Kerry Blue. We had about 40, 50 dogs. Jeremy was the one that won a girl, a female of different breeds, started the season, was there trying to fight against all the other males, saying, "This
I'm the boss.
Is my fiancée. Don't touch her." And used to go under the leg of the Afghans of the Saluki, or fighting with the beagles because he thought was his first night right.
Yes. And tell me, you have mentioned now, Paolo, also you had English Springer Spaniels at some point.
Yes, I had English Springer Spaniels, it's true. And I had some litters, and was a gentleman, Italian, that imported very good Springer Spaniel from England. And I think they were from Wales, probably. These one that he imported, the first one. And I always loved the breed as a breed. And they were the right one. Nowadays, sometimes they are too cockery in my opinion.
Yes, that's true.
And so I had some breed, some litters, and some progenies that were good also with my prefix del Pesco.
Wonderful. And then there is also Kerry Blues that you had.
Yes, I had Casa de Oro Cabriolet that was born in Norway, and Mr. Hamlet, I think, was the breeder, and was a dog that I had when was already champion, international champion, and champion in several
countries,
and belonged to a lady that I don't know if he's still in dogs in Sweden, that couldn't keep him because he was too aggressive with every other dog around.
Yeah, Kerry's can be
I
difficult.
had him, and has been a lovely dog, but he only couldn't live in the house like I wanted. He had a lovely temperament as a dog with humans beings.
Yes. But not with dogs.
Not with the other dogs.
Not with dogs.
And yes. The only bite, I say, I still have a sign, a mark,
yes.
Here in my arm. The only one bite I had in my career of breeder
and the judge,
dogs, judge, only bite I had by him. And it was at a show in Verona.
Okay.
I had behind me a Erdel Terrier of Alessandra Livraghi, that was a great Erdel breeder. And this dog, I don't know, she's the one, as many people maybe remember, of a certain age, won best in show, a dog of the year in England. He was the only Italian, together with Tasselli, with the Kerry Blues.
Yes.
So this Kerry Blue bite me because was the lady didn't pull the lead enough, so with the muzzle touch the tail
The Kerry.
of the Kerry Blue, and you can imagine what happened. And
you have the memory for the rest of your life.
In the Terrier group, because we both won the breed, I had this bite. But the Caribou was in distress because he had beaten me.
Yes. And tell me, Paolo, about the Basset Hounds.
Basset Hounds, yes, is a breed that I always loved. Not only following my dear friend Beppe Benelli, but the Basset Hound is a breed that I studied myself and I appreciated, because it's a breed with that gave me the opportunity to show when I was already married with Enrica, the mother of my children. And he had 3 very good Basset, and I started showing in 1965. Sorry.
Okay. No problem.
1965. One was American breeding and was very good, was the greatest winner. And the other 2, I remember, came from England. Okay,
excellent. And then before we start with your...
I was, sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
And I have been together with Beppe all around England every summer for many, many years, spending a lot of time in the best kennel to buy the best dog from UK. I mean, England, Scotland, and so at the end, also the progeny of Varon Vandal. I remember a lady that then had Petit Griffon Vendéen, and this lady had Basset, the best Basset, sold the dog, or most of her top dogs, for very high price. I remember Mrs. Wells was the name. And so the level in England or in UK in general went down because all the top sires and females were sold to Italy, when the Cane d'Oro of Mr. Benelli.
Okay, that's a nice story. Okay, and before we start with the main breeds, let's mention also, Paolo, 2 sighthound breeds that you had, Whippets and Salukis.
Yes. Yes. Whippet, I met the Whippet long ago, about 30, 40 years ago, when I used in summer to meet one of my mentors, Mr. Braddon and Mr. Seegers, but also Mr. Joe Braddon introduced me to all, because I liked the breed, to all the top breeder of the time, and where Don DeLeo breeds, kennels, and I had a Don DeLeon Rachel, then I had a Champion, then I had a whippet English Champion that used to live with me and at home in Milano, and I used to take him every day in my office. He was a second lawyer of the office,
of the firm.
because he used to listen to all these criminals coming through very quiet, without disturbing, but listening. And then we had long conversation after, later, saying, do we accept this criminal for defense or not?
Or not.
And was a fantastic dog. He was Twiggery of Glenbarry, was another great breeding from Scotland. And the owner of this kennel was a nobleman. Unfortunately for him, he had some problem with alcohol, but he solved the problem and used to live in a very simple way, although he was married with a lady, but he divorced, and he had a castle that led to the wife. Was a wonderful man, very good and generous in temperament. So I had this Twiggery of Glenbarry that was a great winner in Europe, international champion, best in show, everywhere, and gave me a lot of satisfaction.
And what about Salukis, Paolo?
Saluki, I had a Branwyn from Spain, was a Lady American, the breeder, that then went to live in Wales, I know, and was a great breeder, a real lady. And this Saluki was the most stupid dog I ever met in my dog life. Absolutely was an idiot, because I could show him and put him in the middle of the ring, and he used to stay standing for an hour or two without caring about. He was there, stop,
and that's it.
And he was never interested to females. He had no much interest. Sometimes he used to have a little fight with beagles of Afghan. Was a strange animal, but the most fantastic whippet I ever had around. And I've seen. And he was also, he was a present of Mrs. Bruton, really. And but unfortunately, he was an idiot.
It happens sometimes. Okay, before I ask you my next question, let me read you one more comment that I think you are going to appreciate. And it's from our mutual friend Dan Eriksson from Sweden, who is saying, good to see and hear Paolo again, somebody I respect hugely. So we send regards
to friend Dan Eriksson.
Yes.
And he's has been very kind now. He sent me lovely messages, and I appreciate him a lot. He is a great judge and very keen on dogs, and great terrier man. I consider him one of the best terrier men in Europe, certainly, and probably in the world.
Absolutely, I can agree about that. Okay, Paolo, I want to ask you now a little bit about your connection with the wire fox terriers.
Yeah.
And I want that you tell me a little bit about this amazing crafts in 1975 when a dog co-owned by you won Best in Show at Crafts. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I always liked wild fox terrier, but I always, until when together with Beppe Benelli, we had this beach wonderful in partnership. And at the time, I knew already Peter Green, all the great terriers. And already we had terriers together with Beppe because we imported, I choose the dog, and I say to Beppe if he wanted to come in partnership, he say yes, of course, why not? Was Ebbo Sir Nigel, and was a Welsh Terrier that I always was very keen as a breed at the time, and he was a Welsh bred dog. I said, always going to craft for many years, watching the wild fox terrier and following in Europe and in Italy the wild fox terrier, but in Italy were horrible. And nobody could trim properly a fox terrier. In fact, until I met through Cathy Sutton, the breeder of the Rosso dogs, beagles, that I had, and we will talk later. And this wild bitch was the one that at the time was winning in England. I was following her career, and was the contact with Albert, that was the handler. At a certain time arrived a message from Albert. I had this contact, and that he had this beach, and being already a champion, a very great winner in England, unfortunately couldn't go on because the breeder owner was dead. So the relative didn't want to go on. This beach was offered practically for nothing, very little money, and was outstanding. Decided to propose to Beppe. He said yes, okay. She finished her career in England, was entered at Crafts. We saw Brooke Wire when the of Leyen nickname was Bess, I still remember, and was entered at Crafts. Stanley Dangerfield was the judge for the breed. Joe Braddon was a group judge. And a lady, Thelma Gray, that emigrated to great personality in England, in dogdom at the time. I will spend a few words about the memories I still have of Thelma, the one that introduced me. She had corgis and chihuahuas, introduced me to the Queen.
Yes.
When she went, I don't remember, at Windsor Castle to choose a litter, or I don't remember if it was, she was very good friend and counselor, consigliere, the one that could suggest the good lines, line breeding to the queen. That was a great aspect of dog. And the best in show judge was Thelma Gray. We have been lucky, not expecting nothing but winning maybe the breed. We won the group and we won best in show.
Wonderful.
And this beach in Europe then was imported. Albert Langley went to live in Florence, near Florence, and be in charge of the kennels of Beppe Benelli. And his son, I know, was grown up for many until he went to university in America. And Albert did a lot in Italy as a trimmer, teaching people about terriers, and was a master really. And so we were very lucky with this opportunity to have this lovely beach that won about 100 best in show in Europe at the time.
Wonderful.
And
wonderful.
We had also a fantastic dog. I don't remember the name, but were two top dogs in England at the time. One went to America. I had the chance to choose one of the two. I choose the one that came to Italy, and we bought and shown international champion, won also all the club shows in Europe, and was famous. The same. The other one went to America to be a great dog. Went to America, I think, to Peter Green, and was a great show dog that made the breed look like fantastic. Was at the time in England.
Yes. What I want to ask you, Paolo, now talking about your connection with the Fox Terriers and winning best in show at Crafts in 1975, when you compare the beach that you had at that time to the Fox Terriers of today, did the breed change a lot?
Well, yes, the breed changed a lot. I think probably the size was more correct in 1975 than now.
Yes.
Sometime now you have camels, not Fox Terriers. Okay, they say there is not a limit in the standard, but obviously in the FCI standard there is a limit, and so I think the heads were also, at least the head and the eye and the expression and the ears were better at that time than now. Apart, only one dog that is King, the one that also participated to your show, and I was judging best in show, and didn't win, and won the other, the dog
the
of
Maltese.
Tony. Yes, I remember, but the dogs was tired, and one was very hot.
Yes. And tell me, Paolo, did the trimming, the grooming, did it change a lot from the past till today?
Absolutely. Nowadays, the grooming is excellent, and I think is absolutely better, because the two top handlers in UK, where one was the other one, I don't remember, but was a friend also, and was the handler of Alessandra Sommi, the Marquise Alessandra Sommi Picenardi, the lady of the Airedale. And
Yes.
the other one was the one that had two, I remember, two daughters living in New Zealand. And
Yes.
I met him in New Zealand when I went to judge.
Wonderful.
And I was surprised to find him
So
showing,
far away.
showing a wild fox terrier in New Zealand. I said to myself, how is possible?
Yes.
He said, I
Yes.
have two daughters here, so I came to visit them. These two were the top handlers. And then there were some other for terriers, I mean.
Yes.
But nowadays, all over, including Italy, there are good trimmer.
Wonderful. Tell me, Paolo. Then another breed that you have been very successful were the Lagottos. How did you start with the Lagottos?
I started with Lagotto because I always loved this Italian breed. I say to myself, this could be one of the breeds of the future. And I told to myself, I was thinking, this could be very appreciated in the Nordic countries, could be also appreciated in England, could be appreciated in America. And this happened after years arrived. At the time, I had a lovely, beautiful beach from Le Farnier, and was the mother of the famous Lagotto, whose nickname is Edelpesco, but is the grandfather of the orca, of the one that was in your hands, capable hands.
Wonderful.
And you have been a fantastic handler for her. And now the couple, the Booths in America, had done this fantastic result at Orlando. And Lagotto, probably the one is the best Lagotto, best trim Lagotto and prepare, and the best Lagotto itself I ever seen in my life.
Thank you so much, Paolo.
From the picture.
From the picture.
But,
thank you so much, Paolo. Means a lot to hear from you.
Usually, I don't think to make a mistake on a breed that I have studied, known, and loved.
Yes, I agree with that. And tell me, Paolo, because you said you had great success with Lagottos, and you were breeding them, and it's also Italian native breed. If you would need to explain to somebody who wants to start to judge the Lagottos, what are the most important features of the breed? How would you explain what is the, let's say, a perfect type of Lagotto?
Lagotto is a dog that really has ancestor for centuries, and has some connection with a Spanish dog, and was a dog that was used for going or retrieving game, or and living in the area of Romagna and the estuary of the River Po, and is only 100 kilometers from where I live here. And still is spread with Lagotto, this area. And in Italy, it's very well bred, and is very interesting. Is a very loyal animal, the Lagotto as a breed, can defend. I had a Lagotto here in my house, the country house, the big house, and was a guard dog.
Wonderful.
Was fanatical with water. Could see a pole or watering the flowers. Lagotto was there in the middle immediately. A fantastic breed, and
Yes.
has exploded. And I sold a Lagotto bitch. I don't say for how much because I didn't want to sell her, but was many thousand euro of this day.
Yes.
To Scandinavia.
Wonderful. And tell me, what do you think are the most important features of the breed? How would you explain what is really important for the correct type of Lagotto?
Within the body and the legs. The legs must be a little more than the length
The body,
in body.
Yeah.
Of the chest. I mean,
yes,
from the shoulder to the breast.
Breastbone, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the length must be absolutely square. Adinolfi, that was an Italian judge, as once I remember, he said, like you can say the same maybe for Italian Greyhound, right, like a rectangle rovesciato.
Okay.
Reverse.
Yes. Reverse.
Rectangle, reverse is better because should be square, but not with short legs.
It's not with short legs.
And long lengths in chest, but balance.
Yes. And Paolo, you have judged Lagottos all around the world and obviously a lot in Italy. What do you think in the last few years was the biggest problem in the breed? What do you think that should be improved?
Should improve the tail. A lot of tail are not correctly carried, and this one has a perfect tail.
Yes.
And also shoulders.
Shoulders, yes.
Because the one I mentioned, the one that won in Orlando, has from the picture, has fantastic shoulders. It does mean that he can move and put the front walking and having the correct movement. And otherwise, talking about the mouse again, you can have with a coat you can cover the folds, but a keen judge can go through the hair and watch and see the balance between cranium and the muzzle, the length that should be the same, and not too large cranium. Oval, yes, but not too much. And the ears.
And now I want to ask you, Paolo, about breed that probably, I suppose it was the breed of your heart because you had the biggest success with them, and these are the Beagles. Yes. I know you got your first Beagle in 1967. Tell me about your start with the Beagles.
My start of with the Beagles came when I was married with a wife that very keen with golfing, and a mother-in-law very rich that came with us, and another couple of older friends for a trip to Scotland. We went to Gleneagle, and I was what we say in Italian, schiappa. I was
Okay.
absolutely a nonsense with the golfing, but I went play golfing in the more difficult golfing course in one of the most famous old ancient in a castle, fantastic place. Was in August, and we had, I remember, we had a driver, we rented a big car, I don't remember what it was, but was a big car, and there was a chauffeur that I use, this is a real story, used to drive. We had a crystal like it used at one time. I don't know, probably was a Rolls Royce.
Probably
Probably.
yes.
I was lucky at that time, feeling rich, but I was
Yeah.
not rich. I was at the start of my profession. Uh, we went to Gleneagle. One day snowed, so we couldn't play golf because there were 20 meters in August in Scotland, uh, 20 centimeters of snow. So
Yes.
we decided, myself and my wife, because she was very keen with dogs also. She loved the basset hound of the father, of course, and we went to Glasgow. There was a show, all breeds, championship show. I saw the beagle for the first time in my life. I've never seen them. So I fell in love for them, and I decided, coming back to Italy then, uh, I wanted a beagle, or one beagle or a couple. And so I went through the information. I used to receive already dog world and our dog at the time because I learned my English on the dog papers
Oh, that's
because I
amazing.
studied English in at school like everybody, but I was not so good,
Good.
and so now I don't speak too much. I have no opportunities, too many opportunities here in Arezzo, but I used to speak a fluent English also
You
because
speak very good.
I chose a lady friend, mine Bruton, for 10 years. So we used to speak in
A lot of
English
English.
with the two, one kennel boy and one kennel girl. The kennel girl was the daughter of a famous football player in Italy that went back to England, and the mother was the treasurer, I think, of the Welsh show
Mhm.
in Wales. Um,
So
what
that's
were
that
we talking about?
the Beagles. That's how you started with the Beagles.
I started choosing and looking through the dog papers,
Yes.
and the result, I saw the Rosswood kennels were the best, and Mrs. Sutton, a group captain was the husband, were the best for the breed. So I choose this one, this kennel. I created contact. I went to see the kennels. I met the lady that is another mentor of mine, Mrs. Sutton, secretary for many years of Windsor Show,
Yes.
championship show. So a famous lady, a Scottish lady, very big and strong lady. I had a couple of beagle from her, and was one, the female was Rachel, and rather good if I had to qualify her, because the quality was very poor. And the dog was better, but was not really a Rothschild dog. Probably was a pick of litter from a stud instead of a stud fee, because it had the prefix of another person. And he was a smaller type, more like an American dog. And he was Pickering of Drury, I still remember, and his nickname was Pick. This couple, in any case, was shown by me in Italy and never became Italian champion because we had the trial test.
Okay.
I never had an Italian champion in Beagles.
Because of the hunting test.
Yes, I had I had Cassim, but not Italian
not
champion. It's funny because I had world champion Beagles bred by me, females, two or three females, and a dog. And I don't have Italian champion because I am again for to be straight with my ideas. I have always been against the hunting, so nothing to do. And this is also one of the reasons why I was a committee member of the Italian Kennel Club, but because the majority were hunting people, I disagree that they were putting the shows in second and not in first line in their programs.
Yes.
I disagree also for something else, but I gave the. I resigned from as a committee member. I was chairman in many other subcommittee. I've been discipline committee, instructor and president. I don't know. I don't remember, but for many years.
And so, I need to, yes. Sorry to interrupt you, Paolo. We had a message in the comments from Federico Sanguinetti, who says, I remember Dandy Del Pesco, a beagle I had at home, a lovely and nice dog, and he says he was Italian champion. So you
wonderful. Because he had a puppy and he had tried to have won the trial. He sent the dog to, I don't know where, in Italy or somewhere in Yugoslavia, and he had the field trial.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, I want to ask you. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
I cannot see you moving. What happened? There is a problem.
Wait 1 second. Is it okay now? Do you see me now? Yes.
See, I see you, but
But it's frozen.
Frozen.
Okay, wait. We will try to fix that. Beltran, should I reconnect or you think it will come? What?
Cosa c'è, Mari?
Okay, Paolo, wait just 1 second, so we reconnect and we continue. Okay.
Okay.
Give me just
I
1 second.
go to the loo.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry for this little interruption. Something.
Oh,
Okay, do you see me, Paolo, now?
yeah.
So we are back. We are back now. We had a little break that was good for everybody.
Ah,
Yes. Tell me, Paolo. Let's speak a little bit more about beagles.
yes, yes.
Tell me, what do
Because
you think?
after the two, very good but not excellent, although they won in France, where the type was a working type, so they were looking very excellent
Yes.
there, but they were not really good. So I decided I wanted a good one, so I choose a beach from Mrs. Sutton that was very affectionate, obviously, to this beach that won a lot because at the time, and my friend Andrew should remember, at the time, Rossud Nutmeg had the record CC for a female.
Yes.
That beach had 27, 30 about CC with different judges, and I got her to Italy. So I could start
A
really
good line.
to have a good line.
Yes.
And then I had Gaiety, that Ross Gaiety, that was a beach that had won a best in show in England, in UK, in England, I think in Bath, if I'm not wrong. Maybe Andrew Brace, that has a fantastic memory, can be more precise of me. But Gaiety was a splendid girl. Nutmeg was a fantastic show beagle, and won a lot, won everywhere, and had a tricolor dark with a black jacket. So was a real super show dog, but also has produced some very good beagles. And I was very satisfied with both the beach, as not only when I retired them, they won a lot in Europe.
Yes,
But
Andrew.
when I retired, they retired. I had at 4-year-old, no more, a few litters, and Nutmeg had 10. One time had 10 puppies, and had grown all of them. The ideal in beagles, like in many breeds, is 6 or 7. Not like the Rhodesian, that is a breed I had also, but not shown. And they usually have 10 or more puppies.
Andrew Brace is writing, Nutmeg and Gaiety were beautiful beagle beaches. So he remembers them well.
Fantastic. So
and then Paolo, in 2004 you imported this dog who was top dog all breeds in Italy. That's very difficult to achieve, to have a top dog all breeds in Italy, especially with the beagle. Tell me a little bit more about that.
This was Gambit, Dial and Gambit. What I say, and I repeat, in my opinion, consider everything: temperament, showmanship, style, balance in body, movement, fantastic movement. I consider it my ideal of a beagle, and was Gambit. And he was Gamble was the most famous beagle that created after the war the modern beagle in UK, and Gambit again.
Yes.
Andrew was showing the father, I remember, at Crafts of this Gamble. I was judging the breed, and I had a record entry at the time, registered for years, I think. And I had these two in the final, these two, father, then I realized later, father and son.
Mm-hmm.
And I had probably the courage to put up a youngster of 13 months that became then the went one best of breed and the breed went in the group, was so and so, but was fourth or third in the group, and a year later was winning a lot in UK, and then was sold by to a Dutch, I think, if I well remember, Dutch gentleman that had very good English cockers, and Gambit was world champion twice. With me, I had the opportunity after this man separate from his companion,
right. Yes.
and send the dog back to Marion Spavey. And at that time, after years that I had judged the dog, she called me and she said, I have Gambit. Uh, are you interested to have him? I said, my God, you make me the happiest person in the world. So I had the opportunity to have Gambit, that was shown by Francesca Cassin, that has been the perfect handler for Gambit, and he won so much that year that he won the Trofeo Cagliari. And for a beagle, you are absolutely right, was a great result.
Yeah,
fantastic
absolutely. Okay, Paolo, this was more or less about your dogs and these things, the breeds that you had at home. Now let's ask few of the quick questions that are going to be a little bit maybe quicker to answer, but will make you to think a little bit more, and then we continue with your judging. Tell me, and this is going to be very difficult for you to answer, but tell me, Paolo, what do you consider to be the most important judging appointment of your life?
I was waiting for the question.
Yes.
I don't want to be diplomatic. I one time I said at your show, but was very late, and I was tired, that your show maybe was better than Kraft, but I was lying. Really,
Okay.
Kraft has been the absolutely best show in the world that I judge. Although the American Westminster show at the Garden was a great experience that I wish to the younger judge to be able to have,
Yes.
just to judge, not maybe also Cocchetti or some Italian very good, La Rocca and so on, could be invited to judge there and best in show, but it's just a great experience to judge a breed
Absolutely.
at the Garden because of the crowd. the oval with 1,000 people around. But the
crafts would be
is unique.
Yes, absolutely.
1,000 people around, great tensions, fantastic organization. I'm a little bit snob, so British snob separation of the consider important people in our world and the others, all the sections, all the friends that come from all over the world, and the number of entries and the splendid groups.
Absolutely.
So
tell me, Paolo, out of all the breeds that you had at home, which one would you say that it's your heart breed?
At the last, at the end of my experience having dogs and this speech, and Melba, she's coming. Oh,
There she is.
Pavina. Is a Maremma. In reality, is an Abruzzese. It was a dog that was born in Abruzzo, in the mountains, and fantastic temperament, fantastic dog, super animal, fantastic in any sense that I had to let when we decided to come and live in town in this nice flat, but is not like to live in the country with all the.
We had now a message from Philip John, our friend from India, who is saying, I enjoyed my stay with Paolo at his 9th century church building. His Jack Russell called Melba used to wake me up in the morning.
Is this one?
Yes.
Is Melba. Yes, 13-year-old.
Wonderful.
13. And
looks
still
wonderful.
Very sportive.
Yes, looks wonderful. Tell me, Paolo, the best, it's always difficult to say, but what would you consider to be the best dog you ever bred?
Best dog I ever bred? Beagle. Okay. Beagle, don't consider is something that nobody knows. I never wrote, I never said in public, but I was called by the president at the time of Italy, that was Mr. Saragat, or I was called by his secretary, obviously, and he said, I'm from Quirinale, where the president of Italy lived, that before lived the Pope there, and he said, Mr. Saragat, the president would like to have a beagle because he has telephoned to the ambassador, or I have telephoned in his name to the ambassador of Italy in London, and has asked the Kennel Club for a puppy beagle from a kennel in England. And they reply, but in Italy you have an excellent breeder. So is why I gave to the president of Italy, and it's an honor for me, a beagle. And the other one, to balance the situation with the royal family, I gave to the cousin of the King Umberto that was living in Portugal, and Il Duca d'Aosta. who wanted a beagle, and then we became friends because he used also to have wolf
Wonderful.
in his farm that is
Yes.
not far from here.
Yes. And tell me, Paolo, the dogs bred or owned by you were winning a lot, but what would you consider to be the most exciting win of your own dogs? Was it this best in show at Crafts in 75 or something else?
Well, I would say to invest in short crafts
Yes.
because this is a record. Okay, I judged in the same year Westminster and Crafts, 2011.
Yes.
But I also won Best in Show in Craft, and
Yes.
no
Yes.
other judge has won in the same year the two shows. And
Yes.
I am the only one that is foreign and judge in Westminster.
Yes.
You said in the 30,
Yes.
there was another one.
Yes, but from the UK.
That
Yes.
was from Canada.
Yes. Yes.
But
Yes.
otherwise,
Nobody else. Yes.
nobody else.
I
So
agree.
it's like
Yeah, that's great
to
honor.
have.
Absolutely.
I don't. It's an honor for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
And
And you
tell
know
me.
how many years before I was invited to judge in craft? How
No.
many years?
No.
I found a letter before preparing for this interview, the invitation
Yes.
from Terry Thor.
Okay.
5 years.
5 years.
Before the show, like in Italy.
And did you?
When
Yes.
they call
In Italy,
2
5
months
minutes before. 5 minutes before. Yes.
before judge.
And tell me, Paolo, is there one breed that you never had at home and you would like to have? One breed that has always been very special to your heart, but you never had it at home.
Deerhound.
Deerhound.
Yeah.
So that was the love also at Westminster for the breed. That was
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous. Yes.
I judged the breed a club show. I remember the old lady from Scotland that came down to judge under me, and she fenced, went to the hospital, was showing a dog. She was 90, and she was the mother of the breed. She had was showing under me a splendid animal, and she fainted down, went to hospital with an ambulance, came back for best of breed, and won best of breed.
That's a nice story. That's a nice story. Tell me, Paolo, one dog person which is not alive anymore that you terribly miss. Somebody who has been very close to you and
The
is not
German
alive anymore.
Shepherd, the German Shepherd that died on my toe.
Yes,
On
and
my
a dog person.
Foot. Pardon?
And a dog person. One person who is not alive anymore that you miss.
Beppe Benelli.
Beppe Benelli.
Beppe.
Okay. Tell me, Paolo, if you would need to say, let's say, 2 or 3 judges during your career that has always been inspiration for you, that you have highly admire, doesn't matter if they are still alive or not. Which few names would you consider to say that were your idols in judging at that time?
Bobby James.
Bobby James. Okay.
Yeah.
And then another question, which I think is going to be very difficult because you have judged so many important dog shows. But which dog would you consider to be, let's say, one of the best dogs you have ever judged? Or one dog that you have judged that you will never forget?
Mm.
Difficult question.
The reserve best in show winner at Crafts.
The
The
PBGV.
PGV. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, Paolo. Now I want to ask you another thing, because not many people maybe have not been well able to see this, but you have been for many years a chairman of Collare d'Oro.
Yes.
What are your memories of Collare d'Oro?
Fantastic, because this idea came to me while I was at the Seychelles Island in summer, and I say to myself, I must find something to dedicate to my friend Beppe Benelli, that had died not long before. Not Was dead 2 years before, or
Yes.
1 year, and I was missing a lot his friendship, company, and his loyalty. And
So you decided to make Collare d'Oro.
I thought I had this idea that is copied all over the world, because in Italy there is something similar, but it's not the same. In Orlando, where Andrew Brace has been and came back, and the dog you were showing from Croatia, the beautiful Lagotto, make the same, calling all the winners from the best one from all over the world, paying the expenses like we did, had a big sponsor important like Hyatt. I don't want to make publicity, but it was a good food company that gave us a lot of money, a TV company that accepted with great enthusiasm the idea that I was offering, a team of great friends. I want to mention Barone Renai and Mario Massa, and also the husband of Dottor Vandoni, the husband of the organizer of Milano show. So a fantastic team of person, also handlers helped me to organize the show, have the famous star of television coming and presenting the show, and the competition between a selection going up and up, comparing one against the other, against the best Italian, against the top
best from the world.
Sweden, Finland. We had America with Canada, Japan, from everywhere.
Yes.
And was a great idea.
Absolutely amazing.
A great success. And during the year in Italy, the entries at dog shows increased a lot, because people wanted to be invited, able to participate, to compete in Collare d'Oro.
Yes, I was lucky enough to go twice to Collare d'Oro, and it was
so you remember.
Yes, one of the best dog events ever. Absolutely. Yeah. I want to ask you, Paolo, because we know that I read in your CV that you judged your first dog show, one open dog show in 1967, and after that you have judged all around the world. I want to ask you about 3 shows that you have judged. Just if you can tell us your memories of that. Let's start first with Montgomery. You are one of the few people, if not only one person in the world, who judged 2 times best in show at Montgomery.
Who is the second one?
I don't know. I'm saying I think you are the only one.
Yes.
Yes.
I went through, I couldn't believe it. I went through the catalog I have here of of these two.
Wonderful.
The two catalog of I judge. This is the second year. The first year was 1995, and won a beautiful cilium, and was fanfare. I think I don't remember the name
Yeah,
now.
doesn't matter. Yes.
But the handler was Rangel, that you
Gabriel.
know.
Yes,
the great, the top handler now, or one of the top, also in size, like you are. Obviously, you are good handlers. And it was a cilium, beautiful cilium. And the second time was a dog bred in Belgium.
Yes.
And was Ashton.
Wonderful.
Bred by the famous one, and I didn't know until the very end. And the owner was Victor Vandoni, like the owner of the one that paid the expenses. The people think.
Yes.
A fantastic man, a friend of mine.
And tell me, Paolo, this you have mentioned this shortly, but I want to go back shortly to it. What was your feeling to judge Best in Show at Westminster when you entered there? When you saw the dogs, what was your first idea?
I had no idea, because I've been there for a week in New York, in a beautiful apartment in a luxury hotel in front of a garden in New York, in one of the best area of Manhattan. And for a week, my wife, actual wife, was actual a longer wife, because she has lasted more than the others. We were there for a week, and I couldn't see the show, because they let you. You can go everywhere, but not at the dogs at the showground. So I didn't see nothing. I had a car all the day. I could go everywhere, but not at the show.
Not to the show.
So I was there. I put my dinner jacket. Somebody came to at the entrance, a secret entrance of the garden. I had a long way to arrive. I arrived there. They had not finished judging the groups of the day, and was the second day, obviously, Tuesday, because as is known probably by the majority of the dog people, Westminster is organized Monday and Tuesday. It's the only show I know in the world, I think, every year. In February, every February, by the oldest club, that is Westminster Club, is the oldest club founded in the world, because it's oldest Westminster than the Kennel Club is the second oldest club for dogs in the world.
And what was your feeling when you finally saw the dogs?
I was feeling, my heart was beating very much, honestly, because I knew I I had been before at Westminster for the show with Beppe or other friends before this day, before the 11th, 2011, and but I was on the other side.
Yes.
Now.
And now you are in the center.
I had to go in the center.
Yes.
So before I went in, I broke all the rules. You know, the American are very good organizers, fantastic organizers. And I told the general manager or secretary, that was a great man, gentleman, a great gentleman. I told him, I want to say a few words. He looked around to the other committee members and they were horrified. But I did. I had the courage. I went in. I said something to the big, it was incredible crowd.
Yes.
Incredible. You have been, so you know. And I was lucky because this make me more relaxed after I say these few words to the American public. That was high class, fantastic, and,
amazing. Yes,
and the deer hound that won.
Yes,
super.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. And then my last question, Paolo, about judging, and I know it will be a difficult question, and I'm not talking about the show, but if we talk about the best in show lineup, and you are, as you said, the only person in the world who judged Westminster Best in Show and Crafts Best in Show in the same year, when you compare the Best in Show lineup of Westminster and Best in Show lineup of Crafts, which one was more exciting?
I'd say America.
Westminster.
Because there was a picnic. I was in double.
Yes, thinking.
Deerhound
or
picnics.
Wonderful.
Two popular one.
Yes,
and
two beautiful dogs.
Feeling I had in America and this difficult moment
made it more exciting. Yes,
I didn't have was more relaxing for me.
Yes,
more
easy. Let's say.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, Paolo, thank you so much for this incredible conversation. We have been talking for almost 2 hours now, and there have been hundreds of people saying hello to you from all around the world. I didn't want to read too much. For the end of the interview, tell me, Paolo, how do you feel? What is going to be the future of the dog world, of purebred dogs, of dog shows? Are you optimistic? How do you see the future of the sport?
Well, sometime I think this is with all the media, all the social, a lot of other sports increasing, etc., etc. Sometime I am pessimistic. The only answer, as usual, come from the Eastern countries. For the one that are new for this sport, comparing with the old one in Europe or also in America in some ways. I believe very much, and was also my thought when I decided to stop judging, that new generation would come. If this could happen, the sport is saved.
Yes.
If it doesn't, the sport will die.
This
So,
is very true.
Like in many other branches of life, if the young generation are interested because they are carrying maybe the tradition of families, or they have to love animals. Now I see it a tendency of people also in this town that is very fond of dogs and animals. They are orientated more on mongrel or orphan dogs, not necessarily purebred dogs.
Yes.
So it's difficult. And who loves nature like I love, and dogs, or all the animals in general, I love, like all of us do. Uh, I see this tendency now. Go to the kennel and choose a little puppy that is an orphan and a crossbred.
Yes.
And if you think there are people that are making a lot of money crossing boxer, doodle, how they call, this could be the future. So does mean that our sport would finish. I hope not.
We hope
I
not.
still want to be optimist. Yes. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Paolo, so much.
And
it has been a great honor to
Christmas.
Talk to you.
Good wishes for Christmas and
Thank you.
Day.
Thank you, Paolo. Thanks a lot for this amazing conversation. And thank you, everybody, for watching and for all of your comments. It was wonderful to see Paolo. And I wish, Paolo, to you and to your family, Merry Christmas and all the best in the new year. Good evening, everybody.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.